Thank you very much. Sorry for my head start. As I was mentioned, I'm pretty happy to be here this morning, as all of us will be discussing a fairly hot topic. This has been discussed between us for many years. Now I think we have come to a time where we need to face these technological challenges from the provider standpoint and also from the interpreter standpoint, as things I think will start to accelerate pretty fast from now on. We have seen a fairly slow start in the technology in the last 2, 3, 4 years, but now I think we will see a different pacing coming to the business, and that's why we are here this morning. So first, I'd like to make a quick introduction so you know who I am and who I represent. So I represent Congressmental Network. So my name is Gilles Goudreault. I'm the president, and this is not a full-time job. I am also a member of Congressmental Network based in Canada, in Montreal. So basically, CRN is a technological provider. So we're the guys providing like all the equipment. Like today, my friend Gaston from Congress Colombia is providing the equipment. We provide that all over the world. We're basically the largest network of rental companies in the world dedicated to interpretation and conferencing system. We're roughly 45 members in 45 countries, covering Europe, Middle East, Africa, Americas, and Asia Pacific. So we're present pretty much everywhere, and we are growing maybe by 15, 20 new members in the next 3, 4 years. We're also a Bosch partner. Roughly, to give you just a quick idea, 10,000 microphones, 70,000 receivers, about 1,000 booths, and we're a regular provider of the big international meetings like the G7, the G20s, APEC, COP, UN, EU, all of this. So because together we have a very large capacity, so we can fulfill the requirement for these big events. As mentioned, we're also a AIC business partner for many years. We provide the voting equipment, interpretation system, microphone systems for the General Assembly. And we're preparing, as we change technology this year, we prepare for the CV meeting in 2018. So a little recap about the technology used for the interpretation systems. As you know, it came a long way from where it started. As what is mentioned by your president, it started in 1945, so more than 70 years ago, with the Nuremberg trials in Germany. At the time, it was created by IBM, wired system, 4 languages. That was really the first system in the world who actually provided interpretation with wiring headphones and things like that. Then over the years, it was a fairly slow curve. We had RF, infrared, more channels were added, and of course the quality improved quite a bit. Around 1995, digital equipment was introduced, which improved quite a bit the quality of the sound. Digital infrared came on board around 2005. Number of channels for interpretation because of the EU requirement, it became up to 32 channels at the time. And again, more features were added, making interpreter's job easier. The console were better, and of course, the sound was much improved. Now the technology is moving to the IP-based system. We will have now 100 channels available for very large stuff. It's probably a bit too much, but now even in the EU, 32 channels is not enough. They run some meetings with 37, 38 languages at the same time. So the manufacturers are actually moving in to make sure that there will be no longer any improvement. With 100 channels, I think we'll be safe for the next couple of years. Of course, with the internet reliability and the bandwidth, which is improving every year, remote interpretation is the next big step in the business. That will change the way interpreters operate in certain market. Of course, it's very much dependent on the internet, so certain market, they're still not there yet, but it's changing quite a bit. So how remote interpretation will affect you, basically? I do this comparison quite often. For those who remember, maybe 15 years ago, maybe a little more, when internet was introduced in the market, I remember meeting some of the interpreters and translators more at the time, and many didn't believe the impact of this technology on their life. And as you can know, the translators now, the business is totally different because the web created instant access all over the world. So a guy in Slovenia could make a translation for some companies in the US. Every document were moving in seconds. So the translation business was completely transformed by the arrival of internet. And competition, people had to readapt. Of course, there was some specialized market that didn't move, but generally speaking, now translation was totally transformed by internet, and now it's transformed by artificial intelligence. So it's moving a little bit faster for the translation business than the interpretation business. So what that will change the market, of course, and as a provider, I also am very aware of that. First, that will create more business opportunity for those who will catch them. It will need some adaptation, but basically your market will be wide open. I mean, working from Cartagena here, you can do an interpretation job in Tokyo, in Africa, everywhere in the world. The same goes the other way around. An interpreter in Africa can now contribute to a conference here in Cartagena, but that will change the total portrait of the job. That will, of course, like the translation, that will create more competition as interpreters in foreign markets will have a larger market access. So it's pretty much the same story at what happened in the translation business. And now we feel it. This trend will not fade, so better be prepared because the change will be accelerating, and you have to prepare yourself to this change. Even if some of our CRM members already do some remote interpretation, we are working and negotiating to have our common platform by the end of the year. So we expect to offer in 2018 a uniform platform to provide remote interpretation. Of course, this is not, what we're talking about is not appropriate for every meetings, but remote interpretation, we can be sure will take a growing percentage of job over the coming years. That's written in the sky. One of the questions that I guess you will debate also during your meeting here is, what about also artificial intelligence will kill the interpretation market in the future? That's a $25 question. Of course, the actual technology used for automated interpretation is interesting, but that is far more complex to achieve. So the results right now are not very good. It's so-so, I would say, because the language is much more complicated to the interpretation with any kind of automated system. It's not like translation. It requires a much more powerful and processing power to do that. Like translation, but you see the trends. Some tools are coming in. Big Google, many people are offering some basic, a little bit maybe like 10 years ago when automatic translation started. I think we're now in the same stage now regarding interpretation. So this technology will be embraced by the, I call them bottom feeders, but that's people who have no resources, no money, no budget, and they are absolutely happy to find something for free. So they will take care of it, and quality exactitude is not paramount. It's just make the job. It makes them understanding roughly what people are talking about. Of course, we can only, that will be the future. Quality will improve steadily in the future. That's also written in the sky. It looks very, very, it's an infant stage right now, but like everything, like computers, like everything, we can sure bet this thing will improve as the same curve as the translation technology. But I think it will be a little bit slow. It's not something threatening us next month or next year, but I think it will take a 10 years horizon before seeing very, very performing software who can do a very decent job in interpretation. On a longer stretch, I can see the total number of interpreters worldwide to be affected, as only the mid and higher level market will still need specialized interpreters. But that will affect you, that will affect us, because a lot of people will seek to, I would say, homemade solution, working with apps, computers, and some tools. That will affect our market, that's for sure. The quality and precision work from interpreters will still be much in demand in the years to come, but the low-end market will be filled by the new technology as translation is right now. It's just a fact. So what the future will look like, I think the future of this business is similar to for the technology providers and the interpreters. We basically in the same boat because we basically aim to the same customers. We will face interesting challenges over the coming years. The market will change. The low-end market will be replaced by better apps and cheap gear, making a small organization able to become self-sufficient, especially organization meeting on a regular basis. They could have a couple of tools, phone apps and things like that, computer remote interpretation, and we'll be out of this market. That's what's happening in already. We lost already many contracts to that kind of organization, and that's the way it is. I think the future for everyone will be in the middle to large scale market who needs better quality, better precision, and a high level of service. That will always stand. I think, I guess many of you are involved with government jobs or high level ranking jobs. I don't see why and how interpreters would be no longer needed, because you need precision, high services that will stay. Of course, we will need to adapt, but the good news is we will survive. That in 10 years, 15 years from now, there will still be interpreters, there will still be providers. So I think we don't need to have a big worry, but we need to be waking up and be prepared. So that's a short story. Thank you, merci, gracias. And now, back to you. Thank you.